Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. In the Mail, Anne Wilson says this is a potential constitutional crisis. Wilson writes, when a 75-year-old man is told he has cancer, then dread and hope fight a battle, both in his own heart and among his family. After Buckingham Palace announced that King Charles was suffering from cancer, we too felt these emotions. Of course, everyone of goodwill wishes the king a complete recovery, and thanks to the advances made in cancer treatment in the past decades, we all know cases where recovery from the disease is complete. Nevertheless, this is not simply a sobering moment in the history of the Windsor family, it is a potential constitutional crisis point. How quickly events move on and life changes. At Christmas, we should all have said that the king and the royal family were on a bit of a roll. His queen, good-humoured, everlastingly well-mannered, a brick, has grown in popularity. It really looked as if the monarchy had entered a new golden age. And the darker clouds in the sky, such as the possibility of Prince Harry making an ass of himself on some American chat show or in the law courts, somehow seemed less worrying. With such a rock-solid monarchy, we could even face the further exposure of Prince Andrew's friendship with the notorious Jeffrey Epstein. Moreover, as well as having a popular king and queen, we had a prince and princess of Wales who could do all the fun stuff, while the king could enjoy opera and ballet. They could meet rock stars and actually know who they are. Kate could be seen playing rugby and other sports rather better than most chaps. Then the Princess of Wales was hospitalised, and now the king, and it's impossible not to feel that the last 2 weeks will have added years to Prince William's life. He is now faced not only with looking after his young children while his wife recovers from abdominal surgery and a 14-day stay in hospital, he is also much, much closer than anyone could have guessed to having to take on the role now occupied by his father. To a certain extent, the role of the constitutional monarch is very simple. The monarch, as the symbolic head of state, has to keep the show on the road, and that's it. We have been told that Charles, during his treatment for cancer, will continue to read through the red boxes, which, with relentless frequency, appear on his desk day by day. We have been told that he will continue to hold weekly audiences with the Prime Minister. Those are the core tasks of the constitutional head of state. William has no experience of them, and they must be, apart from anything else, both boring and taxing. William is going to have to learn fast, whatever the medium-term prognosis of his father's illness may turn out to be, and he is going to have to learn these lessons in difficult circumstances, in the short term, without the carefree, perpetually smiling Kate as a bouncing Tigger by his side. Palace Intrigue will be right back. Royal biographer Angela Levin told GB News, as far as Harry is concerned, he's a very changed person. He's very hard and he's very determined and he has to please Meghan, so it will be very difficult for him between choosing whether he does do what Meghan tells him to do and what he wants to do about his father. He was very close to his father when he was younger, far closer than Prince William, who is now very close to his father. It might just open something in his heart that will make him feel that he is very lucky to have a father like that and very grateful for all the things he's had. But it's actually dependent on what Meghan thinks. She can't stand this country, and she does really dislike the royal family very much, so he's going to have a difficult time. A lot of people saying this will be the repairing of their relationship, but I think it's how Harry behaves that matters. He hasn't wanted to see his father unless he promised to apologize for not treating Meghan properly and for not giving him enough support. It's almost as if he's had a list of several hundred things that goes back to his childhood, so we will have to see. I think it's going to be very difficult for Harry, not the king, who's always loved him and always had a door open. We have to be very careful that he doesn't do something like this again. I hate to be so negative, but this is a very different Harry. It's a hard nut, Harry. There will be concern from Prince Harry coming over, as he is his father. I sincerely hope it will be the moment that brings them together. Families have known the struggle of cancer, and it's clearly a circumstance no one foresaw. It is a deeply emotional time for the royal family, and Harry is included in that. Reconciliation could be hopeful with the Sussexes, but right now it's about Charles and his treatment plan. I think he's come back because he knows if he doesn't get such a terrible reaction, deep down there must be something that warms towards his father. It could be a eureka moment for Harry wanting to rebuild a relationship with his family, but it's hard when he has Meghan. If he was the only person to decide that the relationship with his family could be there, it would be fine. Piers Morgan, clearly not a Harry fan, writes in an editorial published on Sky News and elsewhere. It was 45 minutes, or maybe, depending on what newspaper you read, only 30 minutes. Either way, it's a fact that Prince Harry spent a whole day traveling 6,000 miles from California to see his cancer-stricken father and got less FaceTime with him than I had with my barber over the weekend. And he's had precisely zero FaceTime with his brother, Prince William, despite Harry's friends briefing the media that he'd be willing to meet him. Well, writing as someone who's covered the royals assiduously as a journalist for more than 30 years, I'd say it means that King Charles has more important things to worry about, like his health, than the bruised feelings of his errant runaway son, and that William would rather shoot himself than be in the same room as someone he now views as a despicable traitor. It's impossible to overstate just how tumultuous this moment is for the royal family and the British monarchy. I never thought we'd see a more difficult challenge for the royals than the weeks following the tragic sudden death of Princess Diana, but what's happening now feels altogether more existential. In less than 3 years, we've seen the deaths of Prince Philip and then Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, the Epstein scandal engulfing Prince Andrew, his ex-wife, Sarah, being stricken with 2 cancers, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex launching endless, devastating salvos from America, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, recently being hospitalised for surgery on an abdominal issue so serious that she needs months away from the limelight, and now the new king announcing he has cancer just 17 months into his reign, forcing him to cancel all public engagements. It's left the whole family reeling on both a personal and professional level, and the future of the monarchy looking increasingly fragile. And right at the heart of this fragility lies the raging, intractable feud between William and Harry. I know from my own palace sources that the situation with the king is serious, as most cancers would be for a 75-year-old man, and there are real fears about what may happen next. Should his father's health deteriorate or the treatment prove too debilitating, William may be deputized to step in for the king and perform the monarch's vital constitutional duties as head of state. But if, God forbid, the cancer ends up taking Charles' life, William would automatically be propelled straight into the throne while still in his early 40s. At which point, Britain would have a new young monarch whose only siblings spend all his time trying to destroy the monarchy, a scenario that would make succession look like a tea party. Palace Intrigue remains on a modified schedule. We'll continue to release bonus episodes as warranted, in addition to our regular morning episodes. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, Apple, or your app of choice, especially if you want to hear these breaking news updates and get an alert when something happens. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue, and good times.